Hey everyone, Sarah Vaccaro, hypnotherapist and rapid transformational therapist. Today I want to share with you 3 signs, and these 3 signs will indicate that your emotional overwhelm. We can feel overwhelmed all the time, and that's exactly what it is. It's a feeling of overwhelm. Feelings come from our emotions. So 3 signs your emotional overwhelm stems from traumatic experiences. So that's all that life is, right? Is experiences, and some come with positive energy because some come equipped with negative energy depending on the experience itself. So every experience that we have, we can label as good, bad, right, or wrong, better, worse, whatever it is. We put these labels on all these experiences, and traumatic experiences carry a lot of negative energy, and that negative energy can stay stuck in our body. It can manifest itself physically if not removed, right? And sometimes we feel this and then we don't want to feel it, so we go to a doctor, and the doctor goes, oh, okay, well, here you go, take this and I'll see you later. And that can lead to even more emotional overwhelm. So today's video is going to be about 3 signs that your emotional overwhelm stems from traumatic experiences. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know, right? There's just sometimes it's like, well, I know this big major event occurred, and after that big major event occurring, this is how I feel. Or perhaps you grew up like me and think, no, I had a pretty good childhood, nothing really major, right? Parents got divorced, blah, 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 right? But I can't think of any one particular thing, but you still have this emotional overwhelm. So the first one we're going to talk about is this feeling, this intense, unexplainable feeling that you want to escape at all costs. That's that fight, flight, freeze. And flight is one of those traumatic trauma responses. It's one of those F's. And you have this intense, unexplainable feeling that you want to escape at all costs. I remember feeling this while going to school to get my master's degree in psychology, counseling, and I was in the classroom, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like I felt like that expression, like an elephant sitting on your chest. Even though I know logically it was fine, I was in a classroom, there were other people there. I wasn't having to raise my hand and speak up, which also terrified me. But there was this intense, unexplainable feeling that I wanted to leave. I would just sit there and I would just stare at the door, and I could hear the teacher talking, I could hear other students in the class talking, and I just wanted to leave. I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to go sit in my car and just be alone and do nothing. And I couldn't explain it because I loved school. I loved counseling. I had a phenomenal teacher, so it didn't make sense. Right? And that's the number one sign. You have an intense, unexplainable feeling you want to escape at all costs. So if you have experienced an adverse childhood or childhood abuse or early childhood trauma, perhaps you don't identify it as that because it was something like parents getting divorced. Whose parents aren't divorced, right? Statistics, they used to say 50%, it's probably much higher than that now. So you're just like everyone else. So that couldn't be it. So what is it? And when this occurs, it creates this intense pressure, and that your brain, your body, your mind gets stuck in that trauma response. One of them is flight. And so if you have that, that's definitely an indication that there's traumatic experiences from the past still impacting you today, but you may not be able to trigger or just pinpoint it and understand where those triggers are coming from. The second one you'll notice is that you undergo these staggering shifts in emotional responses, and they happen like that. You'll go from being just fine, completely fine, to like feeling like you can't breathe, or feeling that fight response, like something happens and you don't even know what it is, but all of a sudden you're screaming and you're reacting. And some people I've worked with in the past say, yeah, Sarah, that's exactly what it's like. And I go to the doctor and I try to explain it to them, and they tell me I have borderline personality disorder or histrionic disorder, or that I'm bipolar. I have these super high highs and these really low lows, and then they put that label, and I can kind of see how they would say that, but I don't really feel that. But that's that emotional energy that you're experiencing, where you undergo these staggering shifts in emotional responses, and they happen like that. And there's so much information out there, right, about PTSD, about trauma, about these parts of our inner world that have these polar extreme opposite, all these parts that are working for us, that are trying to protect us, these defense mechanisms that are happening. But if you are wondering and you're in that space of I just feel this emotional overwhelm and I don't know where it comes from. But I get that, right? I'm fine 1 second and then the next second I'm like losing my mind. That is definitely a sign that there is stuff going on in there that is still impacting you today. And the third one, the most significant one, the biggest one that everyone I work with tells me, it's my self-talk. I'm so hard on myself. I'm so mean to myself. I just beat myself up. And even though someone will be sitting there complimenting me, telling me, oh my gosh, you did a great job. Like maybe it's at work or my boss or, you're in a new relationship and they just love you and they're adoring you and telling you, oh my gosh, all these incredible, wonderful things about you. I'm just sitting there going, no, no, no. Right? And your self-talk is like your worst enemy, and it unleashes that inner voice, that inner dialogue inside your head and your mind, just unleashes intense feelings like terror, shamefulness, rage, and then obviously that gets projected out and you don't know why you do those things, but maybe you're having these flashbacks or these triggers and you're just not understanding why, right? You're just so mean to yourself. I had a client recently share with me an experience that, she was going to school and graduated and then after had to take another exam to get into this position and this career that she wanted to, attempted to take the exam one time and failed it and never went back. Because of that inner voice was so negative and so critical and so belittling. And she realized, Sarah, I do this to myself. It's the way that I talk to myself. I don't have other people in my life that talk to me like that. She used to be in a toxic relationship, but now she's out and is actually engaged and in a very loving relationship with someone who tells her all these incredible, wonderful things about her. She goes, it's not anyone else, it's me. It's my critical inner voice. It's that I am so mean to myself and I don't know why. And I know that if I could just be nicer to myself, if I could just be more forgiving of myself, more kind to myself, that would change everything about my life. I just know it, but I don't know how to do that. And she'd been on and off all kinds of intense medications for decades and still not feeling the way that she wanted to feel. And all she wanted to feel was happy. And just started crying. So I just want to be happy. And I just feel like I'm never going to be happy if I can't figure this out, if I can't stop listening to that voice. And so I need to stop listening to that voice. And that's exactly what that voice is, what it's become. It's become this inner programming and this detrimental inner programming. And so you got to get that out. You get that stuff that's in there, get it out, the stuff that's causing that. And that is from traumatic experiences from the past, from those faulty, negative, limiting beliefs that you now believe about yourself because of those past experiences. And some of them through childhood, some of them through adulthood, always a mix and a combination of both. So if that's where you're at, those are 3 signs that you have emotional overwhelm from past traumatic experiences and the ways that they're impacting you today. You don't have to go take a bunch of pills to get it out. In fact, all that does is just put a Band-Aid on it. And then you rip the Band-Aid off. Oh, still there. Oh, still there. And it can, don't get me wrong, I'm not completely against it. It can help short term, but I personally don't believe that that's a long-term solution. I believe in getting that crap out. And where it lives, where it's stored, it's not in your finger, it's not in your elbow, it's not in your button on your shirt. It's in your mind, you guys. It's stored in your mind. Your mind is like Google. It's like a computer system. Those neurons in your brain and in your mind that fire off in those pathways have stored all that stuff in there. And that impacts everything else physically, right? It's not in your big toe. It's not in your butt. It's in here. So it's stored in there, and it's unlocking, opening, getting that stuff out. It's like throwing all those old files away that you don't need anymore. And you can't ever go back and like not have an experience, but you can change the energetic and emotional charge that's connected to that experience that's still impacting you today. And that's what hypnosis, that's what rapid transformational therapy does. So if that's you, we can talk, and I'm not surprised that what you're going to tell me, but you do deserve You do deserve to not feel that. You do deserve, just like she deserves, to be happy and to be free from that. So if you're looking for that, if other things you've tried, journaling, meditations, affirmations, haven't gotten you to where you want to be today, and you're looking for something different, something more, I would love to connect and talk one-on-one. You can always find a link in the or in my website. You can always find links in the bio to connect and learn more about it there. But I hope this video helps you, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you very soon.